What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
It's recording, I'm just letting you know.
This week on F1 Underground, Owen does technical work. Owen does electrical work to start off the episode. It's not...
Home improvement with Owen.
Here, we're going to do the episode like this.
Just in a squat the whole time.
Hold on. Might be away.
You're welcome, everyone. Welcome back. You're not covering it. Owen Michael.
The people don't need to know my middle name.
That's when it gets so hot. You can't do that.
No, it's not it's not on the light.
Okay. Well, I took it away, so.
It's just in front of it.
Okay. You have to share your screen still. Yours won't pop up, though.
God. So many things I gotta do.
You weren't ready. I just have a glare on my forehead because I'm sitting on the floor.
There you go.
I see it. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to our YouTube tutorial on how to take away a stream of light hitting Owen's head.
You're the photography expert. You should know how to do that.
It's a bathroom. It's a basement light. I have no clue what to do. Yes, welcome back to another episode of F1 Underground. I don't have the number up, so I can't help
23.
you.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, you knew today.
Maybe not. Hold on. Let's go to our podcast page on Apple Podcasts.
I always.
This is episode 23.
It's because it's the pinned tweet. Episode 23. Wow. Look how far we've come.
23. I'm amazed that I just remembered that.
Yeah, I'm amazed I remember that too. But yes, episode 23.
Welcome.
Welcome. We're going to do our normal meme of the week because there's been some weekly news. We're going to recap Spa. I feel like a lot happened, but also not a lot happened. And then I figured we could do some silly season predictions. We won't have an episode next week because we are away. So yes. I feel like we should do some silly season predictions. Obviously, some stuff has already started. On this day last year in history is when the Fernando Alonso tweet was put out that he was joining Aston Martin, and it set off very chaotic. And that didn't even have a lot of people. This season is even worse. This season and next season. So, yes, we will get started. Oh, I didn't introduce myself if anyone's new. My name's Casey, and that is my brother Owen. So let's get started. Amateur
electrician in the making, right here.
Yeah. Our in-house electrician?
Yes.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
He's going to keep looking back. He's going to set that sweatshirt on fire.
I'm just making sure it's okay.
Oh.
So we're headed back to Formula Dank. It's a great preview right here. So this
Can you zoom in?
This is posted by Less Tennis.
I've seen this.
And it's essentially when you stand too close to one of the signs at the Grand Prix, at least at this past weekend's Grand Prix in Belgium.
Yeah.
You got some very funny angles of the driver's head. So I'm just going to go through a quick, just like kind of
quick. It's giving that meme of someone that watched Oppenheimer in the front row.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes. And I'm just going to do a quick click through of characters. You got Only American, Logan Sargent. Valtteri Bottas. Just his chin is fucking massive. That's hilarious.
Wait, Alex go back. Albon. Logan Sargent looks like Johnny Bravo.
He does look like Johnny Bravo in this. Wait, I'm going to do another deep cut cartoon reference.
Okay.
That's not him. Crimson Chin. Right here. This is just straight up Crimson Chin.
Valtteri Bottas kind of looks like, what's his name from Incredibles? The evil dude in the first Incredibles.
Syndrome?
It's Syndrome, yeah. I couldn't think of his name.
Syndrome! Yeah. Alex Albon,
Oh, that's awful.
I don't know why. This just makes him look fat.
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
it just makes him look very
makes
fat.
him-
Oscar Piastri looks like he has no chin, like no jawline, and it's just straight neck to face.
Oh my
Great.
god.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Yuki Tsunoda also looks fat.
I haven't gotten to this point when I was looking at this earlier. I maybe went like 3 pictures in, and I was like, this is it. Like, because I know all of these are going to be great.
Yeah, I'll say all the drivers there. It says 20.
Yes. Like,
It's the beard. The beard does them dirty in that picture.
It looks like a foot. Right?
Yeah. It looks like the thumb people.
No. This is great. Nico Hulkenberg.
Okay, I take it back. He looks like Johnny Bravo.
He does look like Johnny Bravo. This also, like, remember that clip of Daniel Ricciardo screaming Nico Hulkenberg?
Yeah, that's what his. I know you're gonna.
This is the face I expect to see when Daniel Ricciardo screams Nico Hulkenberg in that way. That's the face I expect to see. Kevin Magnussen. I mean, just Bigfoot.
If they have a beard, it just does not.
Yeah.
Do it well.
Fernando Alonso. This is so good. Max Verstappen. That just doesn't even look like Max. He looks like
he has his hands on his hat, so I feel like you can see his eyes.
He looks like. Have you ever seen the picture? It's always a meme. I don't even know if there's a title to it, but I'm gonna say like the Chad meme, where it's the really muscular guy with the very cut chin, and he's like, that's what he looks like to me there. God Almighty, Esteban Ocon. He doesn't look too bad.
No, the chins are awful.
The chins.
Imagine the person taking these pictures. I'm scared for Ferrari boys.
Sergio Perez. This is just bad. It's just Lance Stroll.
Oh, he doesn't have a chin.
He looks like a thumb.
Yeah, he looks like a thumb. But you know when you like hang upside down and cover your eyes and like looks like you're. That's what it looks like.
That's exactly what it looks like. If you just flip this picture upside down, you could like. Oh, that's
he looks like a thumb.
George Russell. Oh boy.
That's all chin. You're awful.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
I'm sorry, that's not Lewis Hamilton.
That is not Lewis Hamilton.
Who is that?
Oh my god.
Oh no. He looks like a thumb too.
He just he loses his chin line or his jawline. Carlos Sainz Jr. did not lose his jawline. It's accentuating it.
But also made his nose huge.
Who's next? Who have we not seen yet? Oh my god! Come on!
Come on!
He looks like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah, he does look like a sumo. That neck is huge. Daniel Ricciardo, you should get that checked out. You have some issues. I'm sorry, but that's literally not Hamilton.
That's not Hamilton at all. That should be my new profile. That should be like my new phone wallpaper or something.
Ew! No, that's creepy. I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night. Like, that's disgusting. Okay, mine's not gonna top that. I kind of my first one. That. Yeah, that was good. I kind of have two. One is an actual meme, and then the second one is what they posted. F1 posted for the drivers like summer break picture, which I love that they do this. So, my first one is race related. Has to do with Sir Lewis Hamilton. And when he went for that fastest lap at the end and took it away from Max Verstappen. So if you watch Game of Thrones, if you watch Game of Thrones, I don't even remember what her name is, but she was the one that killed. She poisoned. What's his name? Who did she? What was Joffrey? Yeah, she poisoned Joffrey in his awful death. And they figured out it was her. But the meme says Lewis Hamilton after the race, tell Max I got fastest lap. I want him to know it was me. I mean, Lewis Hamilton really probably did want him to know it was him. So yes, that was I thought that was a good one. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, thank you. Yes, and then this one's always just fun. I can zoom in if you need me to. So
I wanted to talk to you about this.
F1 puts these out. They put it out last year. I don't know. I have not watched since last year, but they did this for summer, for winter break. And it always just goes over like the different drivers and what they're doing. And there is Christian Horner's in there. What's his name? Stefano is in there as well. But yes, all the drivers are in here. So it's just fun to take into note. Like, it's the four of them eating roasting marshmallows. It's Logan Sargent, who's apparently that's supposed to be Logan Sargent, who's apparently I'm gonna go here. Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
So that's Logan Sargent. I didn't know he was a brunette. Apparently, Kevin Magnuson. I keep saying this is me because I would eat the marshmallow right off the stick and burn my mouth. Esteban Ocon, clear as day, and Joe Guan Yu. This is Alex Albon
on here that I don't think looks like how they actually look like, and I think it's a very easy guess.
Yeah, yes, I have one person as well, but I don't know if you're gonna say. But yeah, Alex Albon in the back, who's the only person putting up the tents, and that kind of makes sense. I'm gonna say this is George Russell and Lando Norris racing their cars.
I have to assume.
Yeah, and then because Oscar's in the back with Yuki, and that's Pierre. I can see it. The Red Bull boys, and someone said it's Red Bull catering at it again. And I just left.
If that's a joke towards that, that's fucking hilarious.
I hope it is. Obviously, Daniel. The speech bubble gives Daniel Ricciardo away.
Oh, the moment I saw him
Pierre
Gasly,
yeah,
I was like, "That's all right." So that's Danny Rick.
Yeah, because Nico Hulkenberg's behind. I don't know why Nico Hulkenberg's the one going to Vegas right away.
Wow.
Because Daniel Ricciardo's the one that wants to race there. Fernando Alonso's just chilling by himself. Lance Stroll apparently is, what's it called? Paddleboarding, yeah. Valtteri and Lewis, and I like that Roscoe, Lewis Hamilton's dog, made an appearance.
I was wondering who that was, but I like that.
It's Lewis Hamilton's dog, Roscoe. He's always in the paddock. He comes to the paddock a lot during like European races.
Okay.
I also saw someone say Lewis Hamilton as a vegan would not be fishing. And I get it.
That is
and then we got the Ferrari boys. Okay, that's Carlos Sainz. Who the hell is
this? Is who I was gonna say. Listen.
Someone said it's.
I wanna walk you through the way my eyes tracked around here, right? So I started with the Red Bull boys because I was like, okay, that's Christian Horner, like without a doubt. And then I was like, okay,
yeah, that's Christian Horner.
Max and Checo, fine. Saw Pierre. I was like, all right. I saw Ricardo. I'm like, okay, Pierre, Ricardo. And I looped around. I went up to Alonso, and then I went down to Carlos. And I was like, oh, he's wearing red. I was like, that's 100% Carlos Sainz. Like, absolutely.
It's the hair.
I went over to Charles, and I was like, I don't know who that is. That's not Charles Leclerc, though. I was like, that's not Charles Leclerc. And then I went up to Stroll, and then around the outside, all the way down to the boys at the campfire. And I was like, holy shit, that's supposed to be Charles Leclerc. That looks nothing like him.
We'll zoom in again. Yeah, that's supposed to be Charles Leclerc. They did him dirty. They made it seem like he's out of breath, first of all. I know he sucks at playing athletic games. We all have seen the videos. But someone said it's Cillian Murphy. That's who they said it looks like more than Charles Leclerc.
Yes. If you showed me this picture and said Cillian Murphy is apparently a Formula One driver, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know who that is, but that's not Charles Leclerc. He should be offended because
I'm glad we have the same one because I went all the way around the picture, I think twice, and I was like, there's no way in hell that is what they did.
Should have known I was getting to them last when I was going around the whole way.
Well, because it's also the funnier part about it too is it's also everybody looks very close to how they look in real life.
Yes.
Like you can just clearly tell. And there's some people that you're like, oh, you could say it's that person or like whatever. But like everybody looks very much like how they look in real life.
Yeah, they got it to it. They got it pretty close. Except I just think Logan Sargent's hair is a little more blonde, but that's okay.
Logan, I think the only thing that you could mix up would be Logan Sargent and George Russell. Those would be the only two that you could be like, oh, these two could be each other. But
and then I also think
you look at it and you're like, oh, never mind. Logan Sargent's wearing blue, and George Russell has a black shirt on. Mercedes Williams.
Yeah. I also think if they didn't have a hat on Lando Norris, which I know why, because he's always wearing his hat, I would not be able to tell the difference between the McLaren boys in this picture.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe also
Although I feel like that hairstyle is very on. That hairstyle is very on brand for Piastri. Like,
it is, and he's also wearing flip flops.
Yeah, why is he wearing flip flops?
I don't know. I guess they're saying no. I guess they're saying I don't know. If they put Lando in a sweatshirt, I would believe it because the man wears sweatshirts in like summer heat. So, but yeah, that was.
Everybody in here is like very much to a T on their likeness, except for Charles Leclerc. And I think it's fucking hilarious.
I don't know who that man is. What's Kiki Palmer say? I'm sorry, but I don't know who that man
it's
is.
Like it looks like it's like Carl Sainz's like long lost cousin or brother. Like
yeah, they look. I don't know. It's the longer you stare at it, the worse it gets.
You could tell me that this is just they just put Carlos Sainz in here twice and be like, all right, yeah, sure,
yeah,
I agree with that.
Because they just made Carlos like you can see like 5 o'clock shadow and the longer hair. That Carlos Sainz.
Carlos. That's 100% Carlos Sainz.
But who?
Yeah, that's not.
Is that? Also looks like he's wearing loafers.
Well, I'm sure if they didn't put enough detail in his face, they're not going to put enough details in his shoes.
Sorry, Charlotte Claire. We will make sure. I almost put the wrong banner up. Or the wrong thing. Yeah.
Brutalized during that. No. Not fair to Charles Leclerc.
No, not fair at all. He's like your poster boy. The most marketable driver after Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton, probably. And that's what you're going to do to him? How dare you? How dare you? Okay. I don't know if I wanted to keep sharing my screen. I had some other stuff, but I don't think... no. Okay. Sorry. I want to make sure.
Into the news?
Into the news. I feel like we need like a...
I was just about to say that.
A jingle like the New Heights have new news. New news. Well, we can't take that. That's Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey. Yeah, we need like a jingle.
We need like the 6 ABC thing.
Yeah. Makes you think of chicken nuggets.
Dun, 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 dun. I shouldn't finish this. I don't know if it's copyrighted or not.
It probably is. Okay. I have no article links, just letting you know, but it's pretty... There really wasn't a lot of
news.
news.
Is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so obviously there's been some, and this could probably go down with other predictions for silly season predictions. I did put a section on team principal ones. But obviously we all know, this one's not new. We all knew Laurent McKee's time was coming to, it was coming to an end at Ferrari.
Yeah.
We all knew this was coming. It's not a surprise, but this weekend was his last race. He wasn't even in Spa. He was at Maranello. He wasn't on the pit wall. So his last race was, what was before Spa? Silverstone?
Hungary.
No. Hungary, yeah. So I think he was in Hungary. I don't know. I just went back in time. Listen, I didn't remember.
That was a month and a half ago? Yeah, that was last weekend.
Listen, I don't remember Hungary from last year at all. So how am I going to remember this past year? So his time's officially over. He's going to be moving to AlphaTauri. And then as the team principal, I saw something random saying that apparently he could take over for Horner at Red Bull when Horner's done. But I feel like Laurent McKees is so much older than Christian Horner.
Yeah, I mean, by their looks. Let's see.
And I didn't see anything else after that.
Age. Laurent McKees is 46 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian
he's like
Horner,
46. He looks so much older.
Yeah, he does look a lot older.
It's the hair.
Christian
It's the hair.
Horner age. He is 49.
Oh, wow, he's older. Okay.
Yeah.
Christian Horner, keep up with that skincare routine because...
Toto Wolff is 51 years old.
Oh, wow.
I just wanted to throw that in there.
Maybe it's the Ferrari stress that doesn't let you age well for Laurent McKees. But apparently he was with Toro Rosso before, and then he came over, so now he's going back. So he's familiar with them. But yeah, he can go. He won't be missed. Laurent McKees.
He just went down with the current Ferrari regime.
Bye.
Get new bodies in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize he wasn't at Spa. I knew it was his last race with them.
Yeah, they said he wasn't there.
I didn't realize he wasn't there. So, yeah, I mean,
yes.
See ya.
But moving on to the big breaking news of the week. This was shocking. No one knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of quotes from team principals, from drivers. I saw one from Checo earlier. I saw a quote from Cyril. Is that how you say his name? The old Renault team principal.
Yes. Cyril or Cyril.
Cyril. Yeah, it's a very French name.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously big changes at Alpine. Otmar, I'm not even gonna try. We all know he's a team principal. And then I don't remember what Alan's title was.
Sasnauer. Hold on. Can I do a quick Google pronounce?
Yes, and then the other Alan Permain was the former sporting director. It's already updated on Wikipedia. The former sporting director.
Of course.
For Alpine. Yeah. Sorry, my window's open. But yes, they were both out after this weekend. It came as a big shock. There was video of Otmar looked like he was leaving the paddock before the race even started, but then he was back on the pit wall. I once again saw the meme with Oscar and Fernando Alonso in the background smiling. Someone retweeted Oscar's tweet again saying he's really happy now. I should have brought up the screenshots of Oscar Piastri's mom liking tweets about Alpine's downfall.
Oh my god.
You have to follow his mom on Twitter. She's hilarious. Yeah.
Talk about familial support there.
Like, let us know how you feel there.
Yeah.
Yes, so they were both out this weekend. They literally left after this weekend, after a pretty decent weekend for Alpine. I'll go over it later.
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly got third in the sprint, which was pretty good for them. I was kidding around, I'm sure if you follow us. So this past weekend, Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds, and Rob McElhenney's team was in Philadelphia playing our local soccer team. So I was kidding around saying I was going to go run down and get an official quote from Rob McElhenney, who obviously we all know now owns part of Alpine. So there are rumors that Mattia Binotto is on the short list to be the next team principal. Does it smell like it's burning?
No, I was just checking it to be sure.
Oh. So Mattia Binotto apparently is coming back as Alpine's team principal, which I'm sorry, Alpine. You run. I tweeted, I said, Pierre, run. Like, just run.
How much weight is there to that, though? Is that just like, oh, hey, Binotto got let go, now there's another opening, he could come back? Or is it
No, apparently he was the first. No, when the news broke, he was the first name.
He was like the first name to come out. That's like, here's your short list of front runners to get in. And
to make matters worse, so we'll talk about it later during silly season. So apparently Carlos has been talking to Alpine about contract.
Oh.
And we all know how much Mattia Binotto liked Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, that's true.
Just look at last year. So I think it's pretty well, might be set in stone that he's coming. But yes, there's a Bruno Famin. He'll be taking on the role of interim team principal for Alpine moving forward. I don't know if they end up getting a new team principal in the middle of the season or if they just move with the interim and then make changes after.
Yeah, they could just pull like hey, you're interim, and then brand new season we'll name a new, team principal. I want to say coach,
but people
out of habit.
Yeah, no, I want to say coach. But people were criticizing. I can't think of who it was. I'm blanking on the name. The previous owner of Alpine, or before it was Alpine, saying how awful the new owner is, and he's not giving anyone time to make changes and actually do well. That's what I saw. Checo Perez, his quote today said that he said he's worked with Otmar for years. He likes him. He's a good guy. He can do things with teams with low budgets and move them forward. We all saw when he was working with Lance Stroll at the beginning of Drive to Survive those first 3 years. That's what he was saying. He's like, he's good. He knows what he needs to do. That's what I think a lot of people are on Otmar's side of being kicked out. Yeah. But someone tweeted this, which I thought was interesting. It says, that means in the last 12 months, Alpine has lost or removed its, ready, CEO, team principal, sporting director, chief technical officer, two-time world champion, and young star driver. Because obviously they're counting Fernando Alonso and Oscar Piastri in that mix. Yeah. Ever since...
they just cleaned house.
Ever since who was the old... I'm going to look up old CEO of...
I wonder if it's just I wonder if they're just doing it as like a rebuild like thing.
Yeah.
Like just like, hey, we don't it's like it's not personal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it's literally just like we just want to rebuild and we just want to get like we want to change regimes, but like it's not like Alpine was struggling to the point of a rebuild. Like, sure,
No, they just had 2 bad weekends in a row. Like, they had 2 DNFs in a row. Like, it's not. There's been worse teams. Look at Haas. How many times have they had bad weekends in a row?
Yeah, it's not like this whole season. You know, they've had like multiple DNFs. You know, they've had podiums this season. Like,
I mean, you scored at Monaco. Like, how? But yeah, that's what I saw. So. So, okay, Alan Prost was, he was previously critical of Alpine when he left his role as a special advisor amid a major restructure at the start of 2022. So he's the one that's accusing Laurent Rossi and basically saying, like, you're blowing it up. I mean, he is blowing it up. It's like, how do you, I wonder, well, I feel like you can't even blame Otmar for the Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri situation. I feel like there's too many parts in that.
No, I mean that like the whole contract negotiation thing is not, and this could be my inexperience showing, but like to me, like that's not like a team principal's like major role, unless I'm wrong. But like,
I guess
not like he's sitting down with them and being like, let's hammer out these details and everything, like.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm thinking it like this way, like, Nick Sirianni's not, like, negotiating contracts with all the Eagles players, like with Jason Kelce. That's Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman figuring out the numbers. But I guess they do have a part in it. I mean, Drive to Survive painted Ottmeyer as, like, the bad guy with that whole situation, I feel like. But, yeah. Alpine's imploding. I feel bad for Pierre. He left AlphaTauri. He thought he was escaping chaos and stress, and he went to Alpine. I feel like Esteban Ocon's been with that team, even though it's been under different names, for so long. I feel like he needs a fresh start. I always forget he was Daniel Ricciardo's teammate when they were Renault.
Oh, Esteban Ocon. Yeah, he was. Sorry, I'm trying to... I did a quick Google search for, like, responsibilities and roles for...
Like, maybe they are, and it's, like, between the drivers' management and stuff, and then the
I found Formulapedia.com. It says Formula One team principal, what it takes to lead. And there's a section that says key skills and qualities of Formula One team principals. And it says negotiation skills for contracts and sponsorships. A team principal must be able to negotiate effectively with sponsors and drivers to secure the best deals for the team. So maybe they do have a little bit of a bigger role in it.
Okay. Then, yeah, maybe some of the blame is on him for losing 2 people in the span of, like, 3 weeks last year.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Sorry, I'm pulling up my next part. I thought I screenshotted what I needed.
Trying to see, like... No, there's nothing really else in here about, like, how involved they are in the contract negotiation, but... I mean, yes, okay. maybe part of the blame is on Otmar. It's interesting.
Yeah, true, but yeah, I mean, it definitely sucks watching him after they had a decent weekend, and then and in all around. I was going to mention it kind of goes into the next point that I wanted to make. I also don't know if I screenshotted it. Let me go to their. Hold on, sorry, I thought I was prepared. Alpine. Alpine had the first, they made history because F3 driver, Sophia, made history yesterday being the first female to claim points in F3. She climbed 17 places from 24th to 7th during the race this past weekend and got points for Alpine.
Holy shit.
So you have that, history making. Pierre ends up on the podium for the sprint race. Like, they literally had a decent weekend.
Why haven't I heard more about that?
Kind of like went under the radar, but I remember seeing it because it goes into the next thing. So there's other news with the F1 Academy, which I'm so excited about. Thank God it's finally making movements. I can't wait. So obviously we all know Susie Wolf is in charge of the F1 Academy.
Yes.
I think a brilliant move on F1's part for putting her in charge. So she has met with every Formula One team principal. She met with them back in Bahrain ahead of the Grand Prix to share what she wanted to do and everything. Every F1 team moving forward is going to have a driver in the F1 Academy. So all 10 F1 teams will have their livery on one car competing in F1 starting in 2024. F1 teams will also nominate one driver in the 2024 F1 Academy lineup. The remaining 5 drivers and 5 cars in the series will be supported by other partners to be announced. So there's going to be leftovers that don't get picked, but they'll still have the chance to race under someone's name.
That's great.
And then the 5 F1 Academy teams will continue to run 3 cars each with a total of 15 cars in the grid. And then it came out that starting the first race back after the summer break, it's going to be broadcasted, so we can finally watch.
Oh, we have to watch that.
I think it's going to be on I think it's going to be on the app on F1 TV, but finally, you can watch the girls. Yeah.
That's
She's
really
got stuff
cool.
moving. Yeah. From the W Series literally imploding last year, Susie Wolf came over, took over the F1 Academy, and now every F1 team's involved, and they have broadcasting rights.
That's
finally.
Having that to me is the biggest piece, is that all the F1 teams are involved, because it's like that can bring it so much more brand recognition, and
yes,
and it makes it easier too for viewers to be familiar with it when they if and when they watch it, when you
that's the thing. You couldn't they would tweet out live updates, but I don't even know if they were quote unquote live. So you were finding out after the fact who won.
Yeah.
The one girl, her name's Bianca. I'm totally going to butcher her last name. She's got a very big following on TikTok and social media and stuff. She's in Prima Driving Academy, and she won Monza in the red car, number 16. People are like, that's what we want to watch. She's the first Italian team driver to win since Charles Leclerc. Yeah, that's so finally, you'll be able to watch F1 Academy starting after the break, which I'm very excited. I don't know much about the drivers. I feel like I need to look into the Academy drivers. I just know of the one from that scored points for Alpine this past weekend, Sophia, and then this Bianca. I'm kind of hoping Bianca's the one that Ferrari picks up because she's with Prima, and they're the Italian.
I'm looking at her social media now.
Bianca?
Yeah. I mean, she's This is great news. This is for people for viewers and the F1 Academy in general. I mean, get more eyes on the F1 Academy, and the fact that it's going to be broadcasted is huge. I mean, that'd be great. I would love to watch more racing in general. So anything else that I can watch, fantastic.
I know, the past few weekends, because obviously it comes on before them or after them, depending. I've had on the F2 and stuff, and it's fun to watch. But I watched the W Series last year, and it was entertaining. Obviously, that Jamie Chadwick was overtaking. She won everything, Max Verstappen. So there wasn't a lot of competition. But I feel with the F1 Academy, it's been kind of a level playing field, because I think all the cars are the same. So it will be interesting to see. It'll be fun to watch. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, that's great.
It'll be fun. Yeah, so that's why it says making Susie Wolf in charge was the best.
And it's only been a couple months since she's been put in charge, right?
It only started this season because W Series was last year, and it phased out, and they didn't even finish the season because I think they ran out of money.
Right.
And then F1 came forward with the F1 Academy, put her in charge. But now she's talked to all the team principals.
That is. That's fantastic. Yeah, love that.
Yeah. And then last piece of weekly news. It's kind of not really weekly news. I just want to talk about it. We obviously know Spa is pretty dangerous in the rain. So obviously, most recently, the Delano Tehoff is the one that just passed away. But we all know what happened in 2019 with Antoine Hubert. So Pierre scheduled a walk I always forget that Hubert raced for Alpine or the French team, whatever team it was at that time. So Pierre, now with Alpine, planned a run/walk of the track. It was pouring. They had a huge turnout. They gave them all T-shirts. They ran the whole track, but then I saw the pictures. They stopped at the site of his crash.
Yes.
And Pierre does it every year. He lays flowers and stuff right there. I've know Charles Leclerc's done it before, but Pierre does it every year. But this year, Juan Manuel Carrera, because he's in F2, he came with them. So there was a picture of like the two of them standing there. And I was like, it has to be hard for him. It's also raining, and what just happened a few weeks ago. That's why the drivers were also very vocal about, like, if conditions were too bad, they weren't racing. Like, they're not going to get in the car. But yeah, I thought it was a nice gesture. I think the Delano's whole family was there. Lando Norris, like, gave them his helmet after the race. I don't know if Antoine Hubert's family was there. I know Pierre's whole entire family was there. But Pierre also put a note with his flowers, like, I'll prove them wrong. And then he goes and gets P3 in the sprint the next day. So it was like, he didn't do that alone.
No, yeah. That is.
Yeah, he didn't.
I saw the picture. Somebody posted it. It was like a collage on Instagram. Of
ESPN that I shared it. It was like the past few years.
And it was 2019, or like 2020, 21, 22, and 23. And I saw the picture of Pierre, like, in the rain, like, kneeling down and everything. And, like, that hit hard of just, like, because, like, exactly what you just said. It is obviously these accidents happened in poor weather.
Yes.
And it's like, you're now standing there on this track where this guy died, and it's raining. Like,
and it wasn't just raining; it was pouring.
It was heavy rain, and it was just like, the thoughts have to be going through your mind of like, what if this happens again? Yeah. And thank God, conditions were okay, so that way they could race, and it was a dry condition, and it was safer. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be going through Pierre's mind the entire time.
Oh, it's got to be going through all their minds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I made that video because 2019, the year it happened, Charles Leclerc goes out and wins the race the next day.
Yeah.
Or in 2019. And I remember I've seen interviews and he said Pierre, he did get pole during qualifying, and Pierre came up and said, you have to do it. Like, you have to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you listen to the F1 posted the video of his, because it was his first one in F1, they posted the video and you hear his radio message, Charles Leclerc, and it's like he wants to celebrate, but he can't celebrate because of what happened 24 hours before. But yeah, no, I thought it was a very nice gesture from Pierre.
Yeah.
But yes, speaking about Spa, we'll continue on to the recap. Like I said, I feel like a lot of stuff happened, but I feel like not a lot of stuff happened. I don't know. What are you eating?
Nothing.
Is it candy from your birthday? You still have the sour straws? I want them. Does Ange have them?
The sour straws are not with me.
Oh, I want those.
Well, I just want a couple Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. Yes, Spa. Obviously, shocker, Max Verstappen won by 22 seconds ahead of his own teammate. But we will
Should we start
go through. Well, there wasn't really FP1. No. Yeah, we'll go through the whole weekend. There wasn't really FP1 because of the rain. Because of the rain? Yeah, because of the rain.
Well, yeah,
someone crashed?
Nobody crashed during practice. Alonso crashed during the sprint race.
Yeah, he did.
That's what I'm thinking of.
But yes, FP1, nothing special. Obviously, we had qualifying on Friday. Listen, I love but hate qualifying on Fridays. It's so hard to pay attention. Like, the whole weekend's jam-packed when it's a sprint, but it's so hard to pay attention to qualifying and work.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about qualifying.
Well, Daniel Ricciardo was out Q1.
I noticed that.
We all knew Max Verstappen was going to have a grid penalty So he should have been on pole, but Charles Leclerc was only 0.8 of a second behind him. So he was on pole, Charles Leclerc. It's only Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc that have had poles instead of Max Verstappen this season.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. If only the pace wasn't so shitty. Oh yeah, and then K-Mag got a 3-place grid penalty for impeding on Leclerc. And Leclerc's radio was very angry.
Oh, yes.
He knew right away.
Yeah. I remember that radio. I was like, oh, he's pissed off.
Yeah, he was pissed. Charles Leclerc also liked to give us all a flipping heart attack at the end of Q1. I thought he was out. I thought he was going to be out. I was stressed.
So it's so funny. I'm watching this, right?
I'm always a little bit ahead of you, aren't I?
You're always a little bit ahead of me. But I'm in the kitchen, like, making coffee or something, or, like, doing whatever. And my watch buzzes, and I look down, and it's your text, like, oh my God, or, like, whatever you said to me. And the context, I just knew immediately to pick my head up, look at the leaderboard, and look at the bottom 5 for Charles Leclerc's name. I was like, oh, where is he? And I just, like, looked. And then I saw him cross the line and him shoot up, and I was like, oh, we're good.
And then, yeah, what's he do go fastest? Like, Charles Leclerc, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Like, F2 now sometimes, I think F3 also, at the bottom of the screen, if you ever watch it, they do, like, it's like a heart rate monitor to show what the driver's heart rate is at, like, if they're doing an overtake. I'm like, I need that for myself.
That's cool. F1 should adopt that. That's cool.
I know, I don't know why F1 doesn't do that, but yes. I was stressed. Yeah. But he was fine. He ended up on pole. And then I was freaking out. Listen, I'll take the pole with a 5-place grid penalty with Max Verstappen. It's fine.
Yeah, I would. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we had the race, or sprint race and sprint shootout. I can't remember anything special from the shootout. It was pretty normal. It was very delayed. Because of the rain, It was very delayed. I was laying on the couch waiting for it to start, and I fell asleep and woke up almost at the end of SQ1. So, if anything happened in SQ1, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both delayed.
Yes.
Because I remember the race.
Oh, yes. Qualifying was also delayed.
Yeah, qualifying was delayed, and I remember, I'm pretty sure the sprint race was delayed as well. Because I remember, like, starting to watch it.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Turning it on at the time that it was supposed to come on, and it didn't come on for like another half an hour.
No, because I was like, I was going home to do my laundry, and I was like, do I have time? I literally made it with, like, when they did, like, 2 laps, and it was, like, the 4 safety car laps. They ended up doing, like, an 11-lap sprint race, which was wild.
Yeah, so the way it was, they came out with the safety car, and they were like, we're going to do 4 laps on the safety car, and then we're going to do a rolling start. And I'm like, okay, that's a great,
I knew they were going to do a rolling start no matter what.
I was like, great decision. You know, you take away kind of that edge of, like, what happens off the regular start. And then they were like, we're going to do 1 more lap with the safety car. And they're like, okay, because they just wanted to clear more water off the track. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure after 5 laps, they're like, we're going to do 1 more lap with the safety car.
Yes.
And then they did 1 more lap.
Crofty or Martin Brundle was like, it just keeps going down. They're like, it's just still going. They're going to do 11 lap sprint.
Yeah, and then that was the thing. Right as the safety car went in, you saw the graphic on the screen change from like 15 or 16 laps, whatever it was, to 11. And I was like,
and you saw this sprint race had so much action in the pit lane.
Yes.
Because the track changed. So we'll get to it. Obviously, we all know what Ferrari did. They did a 9.4 pit stop for Charles Leclerc. I could have got up, went to the bathroom, and came back.
Yeah,
that's how long it was. It was so bad. But yes, there were so many close calls in the pit lane. So many close calls.
Yeah, well, half the grid went in. It was literally on the start of the race. It was kind of funny, and it worked out really well because that last left-hand turn where they come up to the grid places and just the beginning of the lap is where the pit lane entry is. So you see half the cars turn and you see half the cars go into the pit lane. And the overhead camera they had right there just like illustrated it. It was perfectly placed. Like it was hilarious to watch.
And I don't even think watched half the people on that first lap because of everyone in the pit lane and watching them get to change and then go right back out. But yes, so obviously there was I don't know, both Alpine, or is this old?
No,
Oh, that's old. Charlotte Leclerc's pit stop was from the week before. Or they do another slow one.
They might have did another slow one. I can't.
Sorry, people.
I can't remember for the life of me.
I think it's old. I think it was from the week before. Yeah, it was. I'm so sorry, people. It was from Hungary. But I feel like they messed something up for him in the
sprint race ended with Max in first, Oscar in second, Pierre in third. And then it was Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Russell, Ocon, and Ricciardo for your top 10.
Yeah, no, I was totally wrong. The messed up pit stop was from the week before.
All right, so
don't listen to me. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about.
Scratch everything.
Yeah, literally. But I mean, it's reasonable because there's always a chance that they're gonna mess up. So there you go.
True.
But yes, there was obviously damage on Checo's car from Lewis Hamilton. Almost a carbon copy of the crash that Carlos and Oscar have the next day.
Yes.
But Lewis Hamilton receives a 5-second penalty and 2 points, and Checo ended up retiring from the race.
Yep.
I mean, the hole in Checo's car was pretty big. You could see straight through. But it literally was the first lap. It was pretty identical to what happened the next day. But yeah, Checo almost went to the very end, and then they just pulled him in.
Yeah, because he did 8 laps.
Yeah.
And obviously Fernando.
But yes.
Alonso crashed after 2 laps.
Yeah. Yeah.
He put the car on the wall and just couldn't get it out.
Yeah, but they didn't even do anything because I think he was off pretty good, so they didn't have to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to call the safety car back out. But yes, obviously, first podium for Oscar, which is obviously very exciting. And then a good finish for Pierre. Which I tweeted this. I should have sent this picture in. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to start a fan club for the McLaren dads. Lando Norris' dad and Oscar Piastri's dad. If you follow Lando Norris' dad on Instagram, he just takes selfies with everyone. Like, there's a selfie of him and Oscar's dad, like, during Oscar's podium, and it's like, first podium for Oscar featuring the McLaren dads. I'm like, you guys are freaking adorable. They're so excited for each other. Like,
that's hilarious.
There was the first race in Silverstone when Lando ended up on the podium. Like, they're in our, like, YouTube video, the weekly race recap. You see Lando's dad, like, cheering for Lando, and then next breath, he's like, come on, Oscar, like, cheering for Oscar just as much. I'm like, nice. You're so supportive.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to start a fan club for the McLaren dads because they're adorable. But yes, sprint race was pretty much it.
Yeah.
To the real race of the weekend. Obviously, we just mentioned it. So Carlos Sainz and Oscar Piastri had an incident in turn 1. Oscar Piastri immediately dropped back and had to retire. And then
he's so mad.
Carlos Sainz, I don't know what Ferrari was trying to do. They, like, brought him in and let him go back out. And then he just fell to the back and had no pace, so they finally called him in. I
think they were just hopeful that they could salvage some points out of it. And because I think the idea was the same for both Oscar and Carlos once that happened, and the amount of damage that both of them received.
Yeah,
it was kind of just like, all right, this race is kind of chalked for both. I think Ferrari were hopeful that the amount of damage that Carlos got wasn't enough to really affect him. If I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure it was for Carlos. They said it was like a 5%. Loss of aero balance.
He had the I've watched the replays and I sent that picture that someone got right at that turn of the. So, I think he also had a hole. It literally was like an identical situation with Checo and Hamilton, but obviously Hamilton received penalties. No one did for Oscar and Carlos.
Yeah,
Carlos shot himself in the foot. I'm gonna go off. Did you see what he posted Sunday after the race?
I saw that his post-race tweet was just like Oscar was too optimistic or something like that.
He literally
like,
said not what we wanted today. Racing incident, but Oscar was too optimistic. He was never side by side, and that move has never really worked in Spa. Congrats to the team and Charles on an encouraging weekend. Dude, go back and watch the replay. People, you should read the quoted retweets. Oh my god, he will have entertainment for the next hour. They're so good. People are like,
gonna pull up
like the Oscar fans are going. Literally, he united all of F1 Twitter to go after him because it wasn't Oscar's fault. Oscar's the rookie. And if you look at the video, he pushes Oscar off. Oscar had no room to go. He was on the grass. He was over the line. Carlos Sainz literally pushed him over that much. Where did you want Oscar Piastri to go?
I'm watching.
Ugh, made me so angry.
Someone quoted, even Sainz fans finding this indefensible. I giggled.
Yeah, because like even Carlos Sainz fans couldn't like stick up for him because it was just so uncalled for.
It says.
What's one say?
They're
so good.
This one says, LMFAO, bro has one race win gifted by his team, and he thinks he's the greatest driver that ever.
Literally, like, dude, he has more.
Quoted Cars and says, you expect him to do the Doc Hudson flip, and it's the scene from
Cars
where he flips over.
Because when you watch the video, he goes so close to the wall. Like, where did you think Oscar Piastri was going to go?
Yeah, I mean,
into you.
My issue is that you when you watch,
like, show some accountability.
I can understand that obviously at the beginning of every race,
yes,
the turn one going in can be very tight with all 20 cars right there. I understand that's where most of fucking accidents happen. Like, that's mostly when I watch a start of a race, I'm not looking for details. I'm looking for tire smoke and a car going off the track. That's what I'm looking for when a race starts.
I mean, where did you think he was going?
There's nothing he could do there. There's absolutely nothing Oscar could do there. And it's not even, if you look again at that picture, it's not even like, I don't even think like Oscar was trying to get around him. I think he was just...
No, he was just trying to stay on track.
He was stuck where he was because there was other cars around him. And then Carlos, granted, I'll give him, had to turn. Like, you have to turn. I get it. But to be like, Oscar was too optimistic and like
literally put full blame on Oscar Piastri.
I don't think he was trying a move. I think he was trying to make the turn like you were. Like,
he wasn't trying to take you out.
No.
He's not George Russell.
Like, that is, yeah. I mean,
it shows some accountability. Oscar, and if you go back and watch, people are like, do you really think he posted that? Carlos Sainz, like, come on, that's his like PR manager posting it. He made kind of the same remarks in his post-race questions. Right. Almost every time. Putting full blame on Oscar Piastri. Meanwhile, you watch Oscar Piastri, you would thought he was older and the veteran compared to Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I mean...
But, like I've said, I think Carlos Sainz is cracking because stuff's not going his way.
I have a point. Actually, you know what? I'll just bring it up now since we're talking about Carlos Sainz. So I was listening to... I was going to talk about this kind of with the silly season stuff, and I can bring it up again. But I was listening to F1 Nation, and they were doing their Belgium GP recap. Mm-hmm. And they always bring in just like a rotating door of guests and people, and one of them was Fred Vasseur. And as soon as he pops up, I was like, I want to know. I want to know if he says, more importantly, anything about Carlos during this race. Anything. Because, yes, okay, he made it, I don't know, 10 laps in and then retired, or I forget how long he was there. I understand he didn't do much during the race, but you would think that there would still be some sort of like, oh, it's a shame what happened to, like, Carlos, like, blah, blah, blah. Fred Vasseur didn't say a word. Like, never even mentioned Carlos's name. Like, and and Tom Clarkson just asked a general question of just like, how did you think the race went? Like, it was just like,
and he just talked about,
yeah, he was like, how did you do today? How like, are you happy with today? And I get it. It's a glaring difference when you have one teammate DNF and one teammate podium. You're gonna highlight the podium. But again, with all these like all these like rumors circulating about Carlos, and we have the quote from Fred saying like Charles, like renegotiating our contract with Charles is our number one concern right now. Boom, 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 all this stuff. It's hard not to like look into that a little bit and be like, okay, you didn't talk about Carlos like once. The name was never mentioned. And I was like, and then I was waiting for Tom Clarkson to balance it out and to ask a question about Carlos.
About Carlos.
And he never did. And I was like, nobody talked about Carlos. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he's cracking. Oh, we'll get into it more because obviously there was news about Leclerc today, so we'll get into that more. But yeah, Carlos Sainz is not having a fun time. Not having a fun time at all.
No.
Moving on from that race incident, Yuki finally in the points.
Yeah, hell.
Yes. Finally. I mean, it was 1 point, but it's okay.
It's points. Points.
Nico Hulkenberg started from the pits. I can't remember where he finished. I don't think it was noticeable.
I don't think he existed during that race because the only thing I remember about him is when they were doing their starting grid graphic and they said Nico Hulkenberg starting from the pits.
18th.
Said, who started from the
pits?
He
finished 18th. He finished 18th. Sorry, he finished. Yeah.
Yeah,
so he finished dead last.
He didn't.
There was the radio message that came up right before that he was complaining that something seemed like it was smoking, but
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was they mentioned it very quickly and then it came back over that Haas said that everything was fine. So like no one brought it up again. But yeah, so he started from the pits. He's eating his Sour Patch Kids.
Are good.
McLaren kind of came back to earth a little bit. McLaren had a normal McLaren weekend.
I want to say this. I do agree. The results are what we've come to expect out of McLaren from, excluding the past two races before this and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that this was a return to form for them. I think it was just a bad weekend. And
because I don't think if Oscar and Carlos didn't have their incident, Oscar was finishing on that podium. Dead serious. He was finishing ahead of Charles Leclerc.
And I think, too, Lando, I forget what Lando started 16th?
Yeah, Lando had a pretty good recovery drive.
And he ended 7th. Like, that's a good drive. That's not a drive to, like, end the weekend and be like, damn, I wish I did better. Dude, you gained. No,
so he should have started 6th, but he fell back a lot because they thought there was an issue. Yes. But there was no issue. He still finished 7th. He still finished in the points.
Right.
After your teammate not finishing.
Right. So, like I said, points and finishes were very on par with what we've come to expect from McLaren this year. But
yeah,
I don't think it was like, okay, these past 2 weekends have been a fluke, like a good luck fluke, and now we're getting back to where we've been. I think it was just a shitty weekend where it was just like, hey, what happens with Carlos sucks. Get over it.
It was just it was a shitty Sunday because the rest of the weekend was good.
And that's the thing. But
it was just a Sunday.
Crofty was talking about it. Like, there was something wrong with Lando's car, and then they fixed it, and then he started doing better. Like,
I saw his interview. Someone said, "What was the issue with your car?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" They're like, they said it was like a steering wheel issue or something. He was like, "Oh no, we were just slow."
That's why I gotta love Lando.
He's dead honest. Yes.
No, but I think for starting.
No, I don't think they're falling back.
I think for starting in 16th, like, let's see, starting grid.
No, we started 6th. I said.
Oh no, it says he started 7th.
That's what I meant. Oh, we're a mess today.
Wow, we really are a mess. But still, you started 7th, you finished in 7th. That's not okay. Yes, it's a little like, you probably could then say like, oh, I wish we did better. But for saying, oh no, the car was really slow today, and finishing where you started, not a bad. Well,
and he fell back so bad at one point because I tweeted, I said they just wanted to be next to each other. He was ahead of Carlos before he dropped. Carlos retired.
Yeah.
Like, he was back in, like, 18th, and Carlos was 19th, and then he said bye and just soared ahead. Yeah. But yeah, no, they It was not an awful weekend in my book. If I had to give them a grade, I would say I would give them like an A for the whole weekend. But C for for Sunday I would give them like a C because
I would, yeah,
if your team didn't finish.
yeah, I'd give them a C+.
Yeah. There wasn't really anything else noticeable. I'm looking at like the finishing places. Yeah, not really. Well, it's a decent weekend for Aston Martin. Oh, yes, we can talk about Red Bull because there was a lot. Max Verstappen might have been my favorite person to listen to this weekend during the race.
I have to agree with that.
Yes, so he's getting so bored in his race that he's just cracking jokes, fighting with his race engineer during the race. So just to highlight some of his key radio moments this past weekend. Well, he wasn't listening to GP, they call him. So his radio came over to Max at one point and said, yeah, just follow my instructions. Thank you. No, I want to know if both cars do it. Max, please follow my instructions and trust it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, it's like a kindergarten, talking to like a kindergartner.
It is, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to read more. I screenshotted some of his radio messages, so good.
The one thing, during the race, I will admit, when I saw the one about the pit stop crew, where he was like, hey, look, I'm gonna come in for tires, and maybe we can get like pit stop practice. Like,
yeah, he said I could also push on and we do another stop, a little bit of pit stop training, and GP says,
right.
No, not at this time.
Right. So when I will admit, when I first read that or heard that, I took that as him being arrogant and just like, screw it, I want to do my own thing. Like, screw what you guys think, screw the team thing.
Yeah.
And then I will admit, again, listening to F1 Nation, Tom Clarkson was talking, and it felt like he basically like corrected exactly what I was thinking, because he was like, I'm sure there were a lot of people watching that race who thought that was like arrogance and everything. He was like, no, that's literally just Max's sense of humor. Like,
and
they were like,
so
that was
someone asked Max after in like one of the questions, and he said, oh, he was like, oh no, that's what he knew I would get pissed off if they asked me that question, so I just asked it back to them as a joke. I'm like, you're literally telling jokes in the middle of the race.
Yes. So yes, I have to. Yeah. I do. The radio messages were funny because at first, like I said, again, when he was like saying these things and GP was like, "No, just listen to me," I was like, "Oh, here he goes again!" Like this, like.
I mean, Christian Horner literally said they're like a married couple, and it's so funny. They are an old married couple. The way they bicker back and forth. The best was when they were fighting about the tires. He said, you used a lot of tires on that outlet, Max. Not sure that was sensible. And then he followed that up with, this tire had reasonable degradation in the first stint. I asked you to use your head a bit more.
I was cracking up. I felt like the tension, and then I was also just laughing because I was like, yep. Like,
yeah.
Like, this makes so much sense for Max and for how he...
Well, that's like... And then I like that they brought up the, like, tire engineer, like Max's tire engineer, up on the podium with him for like the celebration because he had a lot to deal with that race. Thanks to Max. But yes, we have a lot to talk about. But yes, we'll talk about first that I tweeted the statue was pretty cool. It looked like a cruise ship, like part of a cruise ship. Yeah. I didn't know there was a way to break it. I tweeted. I said, "Someone keep do we think Lando Norris can do it again?" No, Lando Norris didn't break it. Red Bull broke it again.
Red Bull broke
Third week in a row. Third week in a row. Someone said, do you think it's the universe trying to tell them something? And I posted back to stop winning. Because they did fix it, though. But yes, they literally broke the top off of the trophy. If you watch, they posted the video. If you go back and watch it, they posted it.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through our Twitter right now to see if I can see the...
No, well, I don't know if I posted on Twitter, but they did post the video on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And Threads. I reposted it on Threads. I post a lot more in Threads. But yes, so they broke it. We all know. We also all know that Max Verstappen finished 22 seconds ahead with his teammate in the same car, finishing second. Literally watching him finish the race and the gap before Checo crossed the finish line was so long.
Yeah, did you see the POV from the stands, the grandstands?
Yes, I love when people post those because it's so long.
you see Max fly by, and it's like 22 seconds has never felt so long in my life. Like I was just watching it and just staring, and I was like,
And then he finally
holy
crosses.
fuck, when is he coming? And then he finally like zoomed by like 10 seconds later. I was like, Jesus. Like,
so I saw today Katie Ledecky finished 17 seconds ahead of the next person to finish.
Yeah,
like
she did.
They're in the same boat, those two. Like
they are cut from the same cloth.
Yes, I just don't understand. I get him against the rest of the grid. I don't get him in the same car against his teammate. Like what?
I just don't. I just think Max is such the priority there that Checo gets a little shafted in terms of the car not being built specifically to how he likes it. And I think at this point, there's also the subconscious element of Perez that he's like, I can't go this fast in this car. Like, I can't get those speeds. And he might be able to, but that mental block is there just because he hasn't, hit these times and everything and has hit these gaps. And it's just like, it's got to be something like that. Like, I seriously think it's the subconscious element of Perez being like, I am the number 2 driver here. And that just building and building and building over each race and over time, that it's just getting to this point now where he's like, well, I can't hit those speeds, but it's like, you can. Though.
You can.
Like, you're in the same car. Like,
yes,
your car is just as fast as Max's. Like,
and they've literally, it's not like they've brought upgrades like every weekend. They've literally brought one set of upgrades. If that I can think of, that was just last week. No, it does not make sense. It kind of goes into our next question. We had a follower post today. I asked if anything should be added. And it's a very good point. I have to add. And it's our first one.
This is our first one. It's a big moment for us.
This is a very big moment for us. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Let's hope we don't butcher it.
Well, so his username is the letters ABXS.D4. So he said, thoughts on Max's cars with others catching up. Will it be useless as they still be ahead until like 2026? Because there were new regulations that came out today, and I'll go back to that. Or the other day, I'll go back to that. But yes, I think no one's catching them. The closest people that I thought were going to catch them at the beginning of the season were Aston Martin, and they've dropped off. The next people surprisingly were McLaren, but then Red Bull bought upgrades and now are 22 seconds ahead again.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's no one's catching them. And I think the dominant. So good.
No. You finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say because people always compare when Mercedes was dominating the field for so many years in a row with Lewis Hamilton and how it was like hard to watch. People are saying this year it's even harder to watch with Red Bull, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Like Red Bull is going to be 1-2 for a very long time, unless some of the teams can get their shit together. But it's going to be a Red Bull show for a very long time.
Here's my thought with it. I think if the gaps continue to build like this, the issue, I'm trying to organize the thoughts I have in my head. The issue right now is how large the gaps are between Red Bull, but specifically Max and everybody else. Now, I could be wrong in thinking this, but when Lewis was going through his dominant era, I don't believe the gaps were 30 seconds. 30, 33 seconds gap between Max and the other drivers. So that to me is like the smoking gun.
It's the gap.
Because the FIA or Formula One or whoever decides these rule changes for the next season are going to look at that and they say, we need to shrink this. We need to make the sport more competitive. And
because you're not getting battles up front. You're getting battles in the midfield. Like, you're not watching someone battle for first and second because Max is half a lap ahead.
Right. So you get to this point of, okay, yeah, we're going to try to make the cars a little bit more equal. And this is the point that I'm trying to get to, that even though I think their cars will be more equal in terms and therefore might be a little bit more useless, I don't think Max's car is going to be useless because,
Oh, no.
as we have said multiple times, the man is a monster and doesn't know when to give up.
When
He
to
doesn't
stop.
know when to
No.
let on the brake or let off the gas. And it's like, so even if they do think, even if the FIA comes in and says, I'm going to go to the extremes here. If the FIA comes in and says, here's a blueprint for every car on the grid, you have to follow these exact blueprints down to everything. How the car looks, how it's built, how much it weighs, what power it outputs, all that stuff. I truly think that Max Verstappen, with how dominant he is and how good of a driver he is, could find a way to then at least build a 10-second
Still be
gap.
ahead.
Like, a 5 to 10 second gap between people. Yes, will it be closer? Absolutely. But I don't think his car would be rendered useless. I don't know if that, I hope that answers the question.
No, that makes sense. It's the car playing a part, but it's also the driver. He's just that good of a driver.
Yeah.
That's what you put him, like people say, put him in a struggling car, like put him in the Haas, and he probably could still limp its way across the first.
He could absolutely pull something out of any car that you put him in, and he could figure it out and do something with it. And it's just it's insane how well he works. I mean, like, that's the thing. You mentioned to me before the race that he got that five place grid penalty. It didn't even register in my mind because I immediately thought, okay, well, he's still winning. Like,
so I literally posted, I said, okay, what lap? Everyone was posting what lap's Max going to be in the front. He was up front by 14. There was that safety car, but he was up front by 14. Fully in the lead by 17, and then literally had a decent gap like a lap later.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. You just watch him. When he overtook Charles Leclerc, it's like they can't even defend him because the way the car just, like, comes to life when they overtake. But it's also just him because the way he overtook Checo Perez, it's like, Checo, did you even try to stop your teammate? Like,
he's a menace when he overtakes people. He just goes, this is where I'm thinking now about that heart rate monitor. I would love to see a heart rate monitor for him because his heart rate goes one of two ways. It's either so extreme because he's so amped up and hyped up that he's overtaking somebody and that he's winning again, or it's stone cold dead because he's so used to this and he's just like, I'm going to overtake you, and then 2 turns later, he's overtaking you. Like,
he doesn't even need to think about it. Like, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. I do know, I think obviously now with his lead, he could win the Drivers' Championship at Qatar Grand Prix. That's when he could win it. Like, he could win it that early. Yeah. And I don't know what round that is. Hold on.
I'll tell you right now because I got the schedule right here. So we just had round 14. Qatar is round 18.
Oh, so he can win it in 4 races.
So in the next 4 races, he could win it. Now, that only leaves you 5 races left after Qatar. But
can he, like, not race them? Can we just get some fun at the front?
Honestly, can you just be like, hey, Max, like, no, don't do that.
You know Vegas wanted a close championship race because it could have been won in Vegas since it's so close to the end, but they're not getting anything.
No. But yeah, if he wins in Qatar, there's going to be 5 races then where the battle is on for second. And the battle for second isn't on now, but it's going to be the highlight of it because we already know that Max won.
Yeah. I do have the standings, but we'll go over them because I want to touch them since we're kind of halfway. But so there was news that came out 2 days ago. So starting in 2026, F1 will introduce an equalization of power units regulations. If an engine builder is behind the most powerful engine by 3%, then they will be given additional time for tests to improve the engine. So,
if an engine builder is behind the most powerful engine builder,
if the Ferrari is behind Red Bull's engine by 3%, they're going to be given additional times for more tests to improve the engine, to try and get it closer So the gap isn't 22 seconds. But, I mean, that's not until 2026. So we have at least 2 more years of this.
2 more years of max dominance, everybody.
So, like, the Williams is going to be given so much extra time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
The Williams could build a whole other engine.
Williams are going to be like, we have a whole extra week in the factory? What? Like, are you serious? A week left.
Like, what are you talking about? But yes, so that was a good listener suggestion. I'm happy we got one finally.
Yeah. Thank you.
When it came in, I was like, oh.
We should post that clip and
I'll tag him. Yeah. But yes. So I wanted to talk about the standings. I'll go through it quick before we go to silly season predictions. Because I wanted to talk about 2 other things. We mentioned the Ferrari boys before and Carlos Sainz reaching a breaking point, because this also is put into a test. So obviously we know Max Verstappen is winning. He has 314 points. Sergio Perez has 189 in second. So Max has to fail for the rest of the year to lose. The tight battle is going to be Fernando and Lewis Hamilton, and if Charles Leclerc can, or it's going to be Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and George Russell. So it's going to be the fight for 3rd and 5th. But I mean, if Charles Leclerc is on that's what I meant. If Charles Leclerc is on the track that he's been going, he's had good results recently, then I could see him getting into the play. It's going to be, I also like when you scroll down on F1, Nick DeVries is still there.
Nick DeVries
There's only 3 drivers with 0 points. Logan Sargent, Nick DeVries, and Daniel Ricciardo. But yes, and then the team standings before we go back to the drivers. Obviously, 503 for Red Bull compared to Mercedes and 247, which is insane.
Disgusting, yeah.
It's going to be the battle for 3rd with Aston Martin and Ferrari, 3rd and 4th, because Aston Martin has 196. Ferrari moved up to 191, which I'll take.
They are. Ferrari is catching Aston Martin.
Yes, they are. So going back to the drivers. After this past weekend, Charles Leclerc officially has more points than Carlos Sainz for the first time this season.
7 points to be exact.
Yes. And Carlos Sainz has, besides this weekend, Carlos Sainz has raced in every race. Has not had electrical power unit issues, has not had technical issues, has not had grid penalties, has not had 2 DNFs. Because Charles Leclerc has had all of them, but Charles Leclerc has also had 2 podiums. Carlos Sainz has had no podiums. So
this really, really just sounds like, Carlos Sainz's villain origin story right here.
I know.
Like,
but yes. So they wanted to make note of that. With all the trouble Charles Leclerc had at the beginning of the season, taking a penalty, the second weekend of the season, he is now officially overtaken Carlos Sainz in points. My computer just came unplugged. But yes, I wanted to note on that. There was nothing else really besides, obviously, Ferrari could overtake Aston Martin, points-wise. Oh, wait, I wanted to show this for Meme of the Week. I'm going back really far. Did you see the clip of Lance Stroll slipping when he walked into the Aston Martin motorhome? Because it was raining. He fell up the steps and, caught himself. So people immediately put the picture next to the picture where everyone thinks it's Jason Derulo falling up the steps.
Uh-huh.
That's what I wanted to show as a meme. So I forgot about it. I'm just looking at my favorites. Let me switch the...
That's good.
Last but not least... Silly season. Yes. Silly season. So...
Favorite time.
Favorite time. It's day 2 of silly season, technically. If you put it that it starts when there's summer break. So yesterday was day 1. Nothing.
I would say, it starts when summer break goes off.
Yeah, but we said last week, we said it kind of really started with Daniel Ricciardo this year, but it didn't.
True. It's kind of like Memorial Day and June 20th.
Yeah.
You have your unofficial start to silly season. That's kind of when the first move happens. And then you have your official start of silly season, which is the summer break.
Yes. So, woke up today to the rumors of Charles Leclerc's contract extension with Ferrari. So, this is what it's entailed. So, according to this Italian article that many people translated, Charles has already signed his contract extension with Ferrari. It's a potential 2+3 contract. I don't know the official what the heck's a 2+3 contract. Sounds like when you talk about the years that trying to graduate at Widener with different programs.
Yeah.
But yes, apparently Carlos is trying to get the exact same contract length, but the negotiations are still ongoing, and that's where it mentioned that he is now talking to Alpine as well. So, if you need any more hints at Carlos Sainz is not getting his way, it's because Charles Leclerc probably already signed his new contract to stay at Ferrari.
I'm trying to do a quick Google just to see if I can find
There's
anything. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't find anything, so I won't worry about it. I do also have when the drivers' contracts are up also put up if we need to.
I also pulled that up as well. I figured with different predictions we could talk about if there's going to be any other moves.
Yeah.
But yes, so Charles Leclerc is most likely already re-signed his contract. The rumor is they're going to announce it during Monza, which makes sense. Ferrari's home race. Why would you not announce
That does make sense, yeah.
The Italian promised driver to extend their contract then?
Especially if Monza's a bad weekend for them, you could kind of
yeah,
sweep it under the rug. Hey, we suck this weekend, but Charles Leclerc is back for another 2 years.
Well, people also already are thinking that he already signed his contract because of different quotes that he's given recently. A few weeks ago, he was asked, is this why you want to stay with Ferrari for the long term? And he said, yes, in addition to the love for Ferrari that has always been there and still is, we share a lot with Fred, and a lot is about plans for the future. That's people are like, okay, you made that. Someone then, if you want to feel emotional.
Okay. Oh, God, okay.
I don't think you're going to feel emotional. So, if this person tweeted, if the rumors are true, and Charles will stay with Ferrari for another 2+3 years, this means he will hit the 10-year mark. He'll have been with the team from 2019 to 2029, equaling Michael Schumacher's streak from 1996 to 2006. So they would have had Michael Schumacher there for 10 years and Charles Leclerc there for 10 years.
Wow.
Now, if they can only get the damn thing done with Charles Leclerc.
If only.
But yeah, I saw that apparently this past weekend, Fred Vasseur was walking around with a notebook like Adrian Newey does, and just taking notes on different things that need to change within the team and the engineering side, on the pit stop side, and people were like, Fred's getting his shit done.
I like it.
Yeah, so do I. Yes, but yeah, that was the Charles Leclerc update. I'm excited. It's definitely happening. It's the worst kept secret about Charles Leclerc's contract extension. He's not going anywhere else.
You can't
he is Ferrari.
Yeah, you can't not expect it.
It's at this point, Jalen Hurts moving on from the Eagles. The man is an Eagles player.
Right. Yeah.
Or
it'd be I don't even know what to compare it to because there's nothing really similar. I guess there is, but at the same time,
okay, put it this way: it's Sidney Crosby with the Penguins. He is a Pittsburgh Penguin. You're never not going to see him on another team.
You're not getting to the end of his contract year and being oh, I wonder if he'll stay.
Where are you going to go? Yeah. No, it means too much for him in his personal life with his father, with Jules Bianchi, who probably should have been a Ferrari driver. It means too much to him to not be a Ferrari driver. He's not going anywhere. The Italians love him. They're all slowly turning on Carlos. Yeah, he's not leaving.
That's probably also why they're not even that concerned about keeping it under wraps. They're gonna pick a time to officially announce it, but they're if anything gets out, who really cares?
And it was the fact that it's an Italian media member that leaked it today.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not going anywhere.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Charles Leclerc, I won't need to get any more team merch because you're not going anywhere. But yes, I figured other silly season predictions. We obviously are waiting for Lewis Hamilton. I also don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I don't think he'll go anywhere. I don't know if
he'll retire as a Mercedes driver.
But yeah, I agree. He'll retire as a Mercedes driver.
Yeah, he's not going to be like Sebastian Vettel, who got like passed around before he retired. Like he is going to be a Mercedes driver until he retires.
Yeah,
maybe the priority switches and George becomes driver number 1, but still, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, I do also have the. So I didn't realize that both Haas drivers' contracts are up.
Yes, so I have a good list right here of people whose contracts are up. Zhou Guanyu, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, Logan Sargent, and Kevin Magnussen.
Well, and I think Nico Hülkenberg.
This says Nico Hülkenberg contract until end of 2024.
Okay, well, I've seen rumors that Haas is going to extend Nico Hülkenberg. I think they've been happy with his performance. It's Kevin Magnussen they're on the fence with.
Again.
But I hope they kind of bring Kevin Magnussen back. I like Kevin Magnussen. Also, so you talked about last week that Kevin Magnussen had a new baby, right?
Yes.
9 months before was when he got pole.
That tracks.
People are like, K-Mag, we know how you celebrated.
That absolutely makes sense. That reminds me of, there was golfer, John Rahm. He, a couple months, like no, I don't know when, at one point was named number 1 golfer in the world. And it was like his first time being titled number 1 golfer in the world. Somebody asked him, like, do you have anything, this was like years later. He's like, do you have a memento or anything to like commemorate the night, like that day that you got named, number 1 golfer in the world? And he was like, I have my son. He is, his name is so-and-so. And people were like, whoa. Like,
thanks for letting us know what you were doing. Yeah, I thought that was funny. People were like, oh, thanks, K-Mag, for letting us know when you conceived your child. But yes, obviously Lewis Hamilton's not going anywhere. I could see Logan Sargent staying. He hasn't been awful, Logan Sargent. I could see him staying at Williams, but on his end. Like, I could see him being like, I want to stay at Williams, because I think he would be nervous that nobody else would take him. Yeah, and I don't think he'll go anywhere else. Not now. He's not had enough experience. Yeah. I could... If he does go to anywhere else, it's got to be as like a reserve driver, and that's it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They could bring someone new up, but I don't even know who in their system or who. Well, I guess you could put Mick there, Schumacher, but I don't think Mick wants to go to Williams. No, I think Logan stays. I feel like they're happy with Logan and Alex Albon, so I feel like they stay. Yuki, I feel like he stays, but I did see somewhere say that Yuki Tsunoda and I'm always blanking on his name, the F2 driver for Red Bull that's winning a pretty decent. They're both linked to Honda. So what does that mean when Honda's no longer Red Bull's engine supplier? Yeah. Like, are you like, see ya? But that's why people think, because Honda's going to Aston Martin, right? Honda, I thought, was going to Audi. Aston Martin. That's Sauber. Yeah, they're going to Aston Martin. Yeah. So that's why I think there's been rumors that Yuki goes to Aston Martin, because if Honda's backing Yuki. Interesting. But yes, K-Mag, we don't know. Zhou Guanyu, I can see staying at Alfa Romeo. He's pretty consistent. He's consistent, but I also, again, like, I don't see him going anywhere else. That's what's like. He's not like Charles Leclerc when he was in Alfa Romeo. Like, he was in Alfa Romeo for a year and then moved up to Ferrari right away. Like, he's not. Like, I feel like we're only gonna get like one or two movements during silly season that are truly like the driver wants to go here because they want to get out of their current team, and then everything after that is just filling the seats and just playing like a jigsaw driver puzzle. Roulette. Like, yeah, or that's a better term for it, driver roulette, of just like, oh crap, Valtteri Bottas left Alfa Romeo. Oh, who are we gonna find to fill it? Oh, Alexander Albon, his contract's up. Let's talk to him. Okay, all right, we got him. Now Williams is like, oh shit, we lost Albon. Let's go figure like that's. I'm sure there's. I feel like I'm going back to Valtteri Bottas. He has to be thinking. I mean, he's older, so how much longer does he have? I would say 1 or 2 seasons. Yeah, so it's not like he's back at Mercedes and winning all the time, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be, we'll see what happens. Did you say Daniel Ricciardo?
Daniel Ricciardo says he's contracted until the end of 2023.
Okay, well, I feel like they'll keep him.
Yeah, I mean,
if the plan is to replace him with Checo at some point, they're keeping him in Red Bull. He's not going anywhere else.
Right. I mean, this article was written July 11th, 2023. So.
Yeah, so I feel like, well, when Audi comes in, I think Mick goes there right away. Like, for sure, Mick goes to Audi. It's a German driver, German team. Why would they not want a Schumacher attached to that team?
I can see that.
So I think he does another season as a reserve driver and then moves from there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be crazy, but I think it's going to be like the moves you expect to happen. Not like last year where literally chaos exploded.
Chaos ensued.
Yeah, there was hearings going on because the driver wanted out of his Alpine contract, which is the smartest move Oscar Piastri has ever made. Like, I don't care what he does the rest of his career. That was the reason why he'll probably have a successful career.
Yeah.
And then I did put team principal silly season, but I just think it's going to be whoever fills Alpine. But
if it's
Ottmeyer did say yeah. But I feel like Ottmeyer did say to Ted Kravitz today when he was leaving, he's like, "You'll see me again." So he must have something in the works about somewhere else.
I'm sure he can get something lined up.
Yeah. Let's see what. I feel like that's a German name, but I could be making that up.
Ottmar?
Oh, it's Romanian. I was going to see, is he the one that becomes Audi's team principal?
Oh.
No. People have seen the rumors, and people want... Yeah, well, I know. Because people have seen the rumors that people want Sebastian Vettel to be the team principal of Audi. But not if that man's rumored to go to Formula E.
Interesting. That I mean, either way, I think that'd be cool for him.
And Mick Schumacher. He has a team principal that he can know and trust at a new team. I think that would be a good move.
Yeah.
That grew up with his dad, and then he grew up with Sebastian. Like, I think that'll be a good move. It's getting very dark in here, so I need to turn a light on. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the light on. But I don't think there's anything else.
I don't think there's anything else either. I mean, yeah, like I said, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to be as chaotic as last year because I don't think you'll have as much drama as you did last year.
No.
I think there will be moves, though, I think that will shock people. And I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I think Carlos' contract ends at the end of 2024, so I feel like he's a little bit more time, but I guess he wants to have something set in place. But
you never want to like go into your last contract year being like, I don't have this set up, you know. But that works against you because if you have that, your employer technically like knows like, hey, his back is kind of against the wall.
Yes.
Of like,
let's see, he performs well or cracks.
He needs a job, so he'll be willing to take a lesser deal. You know, we can save money that way. So yeah, for an athlete perspective, yeah, he definitely wants like to renegotiate a contract with a year left because it evens the ground between him and Ferrari in terms of how desperate both of them are. You know.
Yeah. Well, I forgot that I sent you that the Astrozella, the beer. Is it a beer? So it's right now with Ferrari as their sponsor, but it's leaving or Peroni's leaving Aston Martin, and it'll be replaced by the Estrella. Is that how you say it? But that's the thing because this was brought on to Ferrari when Carlos Sainz signed with Ferrari in 2021, and now they're leaving.
Right.
and going to Fernando Alonso. So, yeah. I feel like the dominoes are not falling in favor for Carlos Sainz.
No, they don't look like they are right now. Not at all.
No. I would love to be in his mind. But he's probably on a boat somewhere in the middle of the ocean, so enjoying his break.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care.
You can care less right now, but you never know.
Okay, but I don't think anything else. This was a long one.
I'm good.
Do you want to close this out, or
I can close this out.
just remember, no episode next week.
Yes, no episode next week. We will be away.
We'll be back the week after for a very short episode, probably.
Yeah,
I'll be mid-move, so nothing long.
Yeah, short episode following that, but yeah, no episode next week. But thank you so much for listening today. We know it was a little bit of a longer one. We appreciate everybody taking the time to listen and whatnot, and join us for our show and join us for our electrical
sending
lesson.
us suggestions.
Yeah. Thank you to, I can't remember his username. Thank you to that fan for sending our first fan suggestion. Well, absolutely. I hope we answered your question. That's the way I'm trying to put it. I hope we answered it in the way you were expecting. Thank you again for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a follow at Underground F1 on Instagram and Threads, and Underground_F1 on Twitter. If you're watching on video, it's going on the bottom thread right now. You can see him right there.
Mm-hmm.
Please go give us a follow on social media. Casey's always tweeting stuff on Threads and Twitter and Instagram. We're posting pictures from races.
It's X. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
It's Twitter. People know what I mean when they say Twitter. Also, you have Twitter on the banner. So
I know. I just realized the whole episode.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a review as well on platforms wherever you get your podcasts from. That's a great way to help the show grow and everything and keep us going. If you have any questions, great way to do it. If you have any questions for us, great way to do it is to reach out on Twitter. Like we got our first fan suggestion today. Reach out on Threads, reach out on Instagram, please. Or we also have an email. That is at undergroundf1pod@gmail.com. Casey and I both are looking at that every single day. We're monitoring it. So if you have any questions, shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. And also, please go give our main YouTube page a subscribe. That is Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's our main network of podcasts. You got a ton of other shows along with this one there. Great shows. If you're a Philadelphia native and you're listening to this show and you like Philly sports, greatest podcast, Philly sports podcast, Underground Sports Philadelphia is fantastic.
There's a lot happening too.
Yes, a lot happening for us, and any sort of subscription, follow, like, whatever gets us closer to growing this thing to the level that we want to get it to. So please go do that. But yeah, that is about it, and we will not see you next week, but we will see you 2 weeks from now.
See you in 2 weeks, everyone.
See you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Happy silly season.
Yeah, happy silly season. Cheers to silly season. We should have cheers. Goodbye.
Should have had, yeah.